You're listening to Secure Freedom Radio. Freedom Radio.
Now more from Frank Gaffney.
Welcome back. We've been talking a lot lately, particularly since the Fort Hood massacre, about the operations of our enemies inside America. The adherence to Sharia, I think, is the most accurate way to describe them. They happen to come in several different flavors, though. They're the Sunnis, principally bankrolled and promoted by the Saudis. And then they're the Shia, principally bankrolled by Iran. And these guys don't agree on some points of the history and the practice of Islam. But one thing they absolutely, positively do agree upon is that we are their enemy. And yes, I know the Saudis are supposed to be our friends, but make no mistake about it. Their adherence to Sharia trumps all other affinities, loyalties, or temporary alliances. And ultimately, what you see around the world, what we see in America, on the part of both the House of Saud and the mullahs of Tehran, is an insistent effort to bring us down. And there have been some important developments with respect to the Shia component of that subversive fifth column program in America. And we always turn to our friend and colleague Clare Lopez of the Intelligence Summit, where she is the vice president, and the Center for Counterintelligence and Security Studies, where she is a professor, to help us understand the nature of these developments involving the Iranian subversive efforts in America. Clare Lopez, welcome back to Secure Freedom Radio. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Frank. It's good to be here, too.
Listen, I want to play just a quick clip by way of introduction to the National Iranian American Council, and then have you explain what these guys are really up to.
The National Iranian American Council, it's the largest grassroots Iranian American organization in the country that is very active on Capitol Hill. Our job is to represent the interests of the Iranian American community, which means that on the issues that are most important to our community, whether it is to stop war with Iran, or whether it is to make sure that human rights in Iran are being respected, or if it is to make sure that discrimination against Iranian Americans here in the United States is prevented, that's what we do on a daily basis.
That, of course, was Trita Parsi. Clare Lopez, a man you know well. In fact, you've written a superb paper, actually two papers now, on Trita Parsi of the National Iranian American Council, NIAC. Tell us a little bit about what the NIAC team actually does.
Well, I don't actually know Trita Parsi personally, but I've certainly looked at a lot of what he's been involved in. And NIAC, as you describe it, NIAC, National Iranian American Council, it's set up as a purportedly a non-profit organization, which by definition is forbidden from lobbying. But what was the first line that we heard our friend mention? Activities on Capitol Hill. They act for all intents and purposes as a lobbying organization, but on behalf of policies that really favor the regime in Tehran. They function as a support group, really, for the policies of the regime in Tehran, and try to encourage the United States foreign policy to move in the direction of supporting policies that the mullahs would like.
Now,
yes,
Clare Lopez, let me interrupt you just to say that in your paper, as I recall, and by the way, you can get Clare Lopez's excellent paper at the securefreedom.org website of the Center for Security Policy under our publications. But Clare, as I recall, you reported that the Iranian regime, or at least its press outlets, has actually called NIAC the Iranian lobby in America.
Absolutely, yes.
Did they not use that term?
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, the Iranian press, Aftab News is one of them, uses a transliteration of English language in the Farsi in order to write this word, and it comes out lobby. and they call the group that NIAC is at the center of. It is a group of organizations, individuals, think tanks, journalists, academics, who have all banded together loosely in a network that acts to support foreign policy on the part of the United States that would not be unwelcome in Tehran. In other words, no military strikes. Let's get rid of these sanctions. No hard measures. No additional crackdowns. Certainly no mention of the nuclear weapons program. These are the policies that everyone in this group seem to be on the same sheet of music. And yeah, the media, the press in Iran, which are all government either controlled or sanctioned. I mean, they don't exist without the permission of the government to exist.
Right.
Actually used this word, and they called it the Iran lobby in America.
Okay. Clare Lopez, you're a former CIA operative. You've been monitoring this group and its operations. Tell us what the latest news is about NIAC and its lobbying activities that may have crossed a legal line, as I understand it.
Well, I think two things. One is there's a very much noted article in the Washington Times this morning that is Friday, November the 13th, and the article talks about NIAC and its activities on Capitol Hill, its activities in Congress, activities that at least skirt the line as far as lobbying goes. On Capitol Hill, they're very active. They meet with congressional representatives on Capitol Hill. They attend panels and meetings and conferences together with congressional members. They also have on their advisory board former Undersecretary of State Thomas Pickering, and now newly just appointed is Mr. John Limbert. He's a former U.S. hostage in Tehran from the embassy in Tehran in 1979.
Right.
He has now been appointed as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Iran in the Bureau of Near Eastern Affairs at the Department of State. And he sits
a key
on
appointment.
NIAC
Clare Lopez,
advisory board.
Yeah, let me interrupt you because there's one other story that we want to cover very, very quickly, I'm afraid, less than a minute. Tell us about the apparent effort by the U.S. government to roll up an Iranian front organization known as the Alavi Foundation.
Yeah, the U.S. Attorney in New York, Department of Justice, yesterday issued a press release. They have moved to take control of a office building on Fifth Avenue belonging to the Alavi Foundation. That is basically a foundation that is a front group. It channeled money to Iran. It collected rent. It also owned 4 mosques in New York, in Maryland, in Texas, and in California, and was acting to channel funds that came to it as a charitable organization back through the Bank Melli, which is a designated bank by the Department of the Treasury for its involvement in Iran's nuclear weapons program and the Revolutionary Guard role in that. This foundation, the Alavi Foundation, was with them.
Bad actors doing bad business. Clare Lopez, we didn't do justice to this. There's so much going on. I hope you'll come back soon and further develop the degree to which Iran is operating inside America to our detriment and that of freedom-loving people elsewhere.